For nearly a decade now, the tight end position has been completely inept for the New York Jets, but Joe Douglas aimed to fix that. Last week in free agency, he signed CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin, and the pair are perfect complements to one another. They can both do it all. So let's take a look at the film together and I'll show you why the Jets have an opportunity to see dominant play from their tight end room in 2022. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and I cannot believe what I'm about to say. I'm excited to make a video about the New York Jets tight end room. Joe Douglas did a phenomenal job through the week. CJ Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, a couple of really well-rounded players. I think they were great value, and I'm going to show you why their skill sets are perfect for this offense. Mike LaFleur showed a propensity to want to run 12 personnel, 21 personnel. He has the opportunity to do that now with this pairing of tight ends. I'm not saying it's Gronk and Hernandez, but this is the best group the Jets have had in a very long time. Let's start with their pass blocking prowess, because the Jets have had predominantly blocking tight ends the last couple of years, but none of them block as well as Uzomah and Conklin respectively. Let's start with Tyler Conklin. He's on the right-hand side of the screen here. He's one-on-one against Chandler Jones, one of the premier edge rushers in the NFL, and this is how much Minnesota trusted him. Let's let it roll because the tape speaks for itself. Does a really good job being patient with his hands. Have a look at the placement of his left hand. Look how tight and inside it is to the numbers. That's why he wins this rep. Then he manages to re-engage the feet, get him around the hoop, and ends up throwing him to the ground, and it's a touchdown as a result. I'm not saying this is perfect, but this is a tight end against one of the best DNs in the NFL. This is who Tyler Conklin is. He has a phenomenal floor as a blocker, and it's going to improve the Jets' pass protection so much. They haven't had this. Trayvon Wesco struggled in this area. Ryan Griffin was appalling. You can see what Tyler Conklin can do, and it is an exciting skill set. But he's also extremely mobile too. They can do so many things with him. What they're doing here in Minnesota, they're showing a split zone, and Tyler Conklin's running a split zone motion. So he's coming from the right-hand side of your screen all the way across the formation, and he's going to kind of wham block the unblocked defensive end. But in this instance, it's not a running play. It's play action. They're running an end around off it. You can see the wide receiver coming around and Kirk Cousins popping him the ball. Now turn your attention to number 83, because Tyler Conklin does an incredible job. He doesn't just get hands on the defensive end. Look at the way he keeps his feet and hips square to the line of scrimmage. How he manages to stay in front, helmet to helmet, chest to chest with the defensive end, and keep him 5 yards from the receiver on the end around. At full speed, it gives you a great picture. Athleticism, blocking ability, intelligence. Look how he keeps his feet going, but keeps his shoulders square. No pressure on the wide receiver, I guess, throwing the football, not the quarterback. And it's a first down as a result. Tyler Conklin is so diverse in what he can do as a pass blocker. But don't forget about CJ Uzomah either, because he has a very nice skill set. It just wasn't utilized as much because he was out on routes more rather than in the pass protection. Number 87, right-hand side of your screen, is the inline tight end. Both of these guys, great fits because they block inline a ton. You're going to see him go one-on-one, like we saw with Conklin, with a defensive end. I understand it's not the most explosive get-off from number 98 here, but Uzomah still does a great job, again, getting his feet prepped, covers good territory, tight hands. Look how he re-engages his feet. And it's a complete stalemate. He wins that rep very, very easily. Better than that. He's a very good pass blocker. And this is a skill set that's going to help the Jets offense. But more than anything, tight ends are getting paid to catch the football, to be that security blanket for a young quarterback. In this instance, it's Zach Wilson. And these guys both do it extremely well. I want to start looking at crossing routes. When they're in motion, what they can do in this kind of Mike LaFleur, Shanahan style offense, Sean McVay, they all utilize the tight ends in motion and leaks and all those kind of things so often. Starting with CJ Uzomah, he's on the right hand side of your screen. They're going to leak him out the backside on this play action bootleg from Joe Burrow. So he's going to come out, roll out to his left hand side. You can see them sneak Uzomah out the back door, gets his hands on the football. But this is what he does so well. This is where he makes the money. 5th best tight end in the NFL yards after carry. Look at him stand up the safety, jumps inside, and gets to the pylon. He does an outstanding job with the ball in his hands after the catch. He's dynamic. He gives the Jets something they haven't had in a really long time. Look at this, man. I love the change of direction ability in space. That's something we haven't had. And these are 2 awesome plays as well. Uzomah, 4th and 1, huge down late in the game against the Vikings in week 1. He's going to come across the formation from right to left, number 87. Look at him work through traffic. He sees the corner, starts to pick him up. Look at the angle he takes, the awareness that he needs to drift to find space, to lead into open grass for Joe Burrow. Not only does he do that, he makes the catch, gets the ball in the correct hand. Look at that, big don't argue, and then gets to the sideline. An enormous play in the context of the game from CJ Uzomah. You can see it from the back angle as well, number 87, right-hand side of your screen. Leaking across, finds the space, great instincts, great feel, and then makes a man miss and gets out of bounds. But this was without a doubt the best play from either of these tight ends in the passing game in 2021. CJ Uzomah, you see the smarts, the physicality at the stem, and then the ability to separate. He's one-on-one against Marlon Humphrey here, one of the premier corners, and look, he got toasted this day, but he's a very good player. What the Bengals are doing, they're trying to flood the right-hand side of your screen off play action. You can see the motion, the fly motion across the formation. Uzomah, coming from the right-hand side, inline tight end, they're selling he's running an over route, then he's going to cut it back towards the bottom of your screen. But instead of doing that, something BYU did a bit with Wilson, you can see him get physical at the stem, he sells that he's coming back towards the bottom of your screen, and then he snaps it off. Look at the separation he gets. Great use of his body, his hips to sell that he's going to come back towards the bottom of the screen, towards that flood concept, and instead breaks it off. It's a shot play, he gets the ball, and again, look at him make Marlon Humphrey look just silly in space. Chucks on the handbrake, cuts to the inside, and then gets to the end zone for the touchdown. An incredible skill set, an awesome route. He sets it up, he's physical. This is quintessential CJ Uzomah, and this is a unique skill set that the Jets haven't had in the tight end room for a decade. But then we can see Tyler Conklin do some really cool things in the passing game as well. We talk about crossing routes. Here's an example of that. Against zone coverage, coming from left to right, a little over route. You're going to see him sit down, finds the space in zone, catches the ball, gets north-south, gets over his pads. Very simple, but it's a very good fit in the Mike LaFleur offense. He does it very well. Reads zone coverage, wades through traffic, eyes back to the football, and then makes the play and gets 5-6 yards after the catch. But where he really eats, and the best part of his game, is when he's one-on-one isolated against a linebacker. And this doesn't necessarily mean man coverage. He could be going into zone and running a tight end option route. We're going to look at two examples of that. First one here, he's on the left-hand side of your screen against Von Bell, number 24. I want you to watch the intricacy of this little move. He sets up the little option route, little stutter step, fakes like he's going outside, he plants that left foot in the ground, and then snaps it back across his face, gets the ball, and again, running behind his shoulder pads. Watch it again at full speed, a really nice job from Tyler Conklin selling the out and then coming back on the option route. I loved that. And another example in the red zone where you need to make your money as a tight end. Zach Wilson's going to love this. Left-hand side of your screen, watch him come off the formation. Once again, little stutter step, gets to the break of the route, sells inside, freezes the hips of the feet of the linebacker, and then breaks outside, catches the ball, backs in the end zone. That is a great example of Tyler Conklin, what he can do in the passing game, and it's fantastic to have someone who can win on stick routes and option routes and these kind of things against zone, but I like the route running, I like how he sets him up. It's a very nice trait to have. Oh, and one last thing about these guys in the passing game, you can give them design catches and screens and little drag routes. Let's look at one from each, starting with Tyler Conklin. He's on the outside, split out to the boundary here, right-hand side of your screen. He comes across on this little, I guess you'd call it a short in, a drag. Take a look at him after the catch. Gets the ball, gets north-south, accelerates, and nearly splits the linebacker and the safety. This is a really simple 20 yards. You can see the off coverage in man, but when he gets it and you get a design touch against a good look, he can be quite devastating after the catch. But CJ Uzomah, same kind of thing, right-hand side of your screen, down the bottom, you're going to see a little screen right in a crucial moment in the fourth quarter against the Jags. Wins them the game with this play. Tight end bubble. When have the Jets thrown a tight end bubble? Gets the football, makes the first guy miss, gets out in space, and it's an easy 25 yards. Love to see this. Run after the catch, ability to make things happen with the ball in their hands. The Jets are craving this kind of production. But did I mention they can run block as well? And they're very diverse as run blockers. Let's take a look first at outside wide zone type looks, staple of the LaFleur offense, when they're on the front side. Number 87, CJ Uzomah, left-hand side of your screen. Take a look at him take the linebacker for a ride here. Does a good job getting to the second level, engages, tight hands, good pad level, and then takes him 5-10 yards down the field. Does a great job catching him where he finds him and getting rid of him. That's what John Benton teaches. That's what CJ Uzomah does. Now Tyler Conklin, right-hand side of your screen, very similar thing. Comes up against number 57. Physical at the point of attack. Causes some displacement. Look at the head rock back. I love the tight hands. Fantastic. And then you can see him try and get outside shoulder. Open up that outside lane for the running back. Dalvin Cook hits it, and it doesn't get any better. Tyler Conklin is a fantastic blocker. I love the tight hands. I love the energy. Oh, and one last thing. Bang. Throws him to the ground. That's a finish from Tyler Conklin against a linebacker, a guy who's probably got a touch of weight on him as well. Just an awesome play. But then something else we see the Rams do, and I mentioned this a little bit, are these split zone runs and these split zone motions. CJ Uzomah is so mobile and athletic on these, and he does a fantastic job. Number 87, filtering from right to left across your screen. Have a look at him come in this split zone motion and just chop the defensive end who's unblocked. The rest of the line's kind of motioning the other way, inside mid-zone, and there you can see the running back hit the hole. But an awesome job by CJ. Take a look at it again. Great target just below the knees, brings him down. That's a first down as a result of his block. And just to show it wasn't a fluke, here he is motioning inside the screen, going the other way, similar type of motion, great target, excellent block, gets him to the ground, opens up the lane for Joe Mixon. That's CJ Uzomah, and that's where he's best utilized as a run blocker. And then, man, one last example of Tyler Conklin, because there's so many things to love about him as a blocker. Left-hand side of your screen, number 83. This is against Trey Hendrickson, pretty good player on a very good team. He takes him for a ride here. So he's the tight end on the far left-hand side of your screen. Does a great job scooping off the line of scrimmage. Oh, look at the physicality, the way he snaps his hips, gets his back to the running back, opens up the lane, and then displacement. He just walks him down the line of scrimmage, opens up the lane for Dalvin Cook, and it's a walk-in touchdown. Why? Because Tyler Conklin is an outstanding blocker. Man, physical at the point of attack, throws his hips into it, gets square on the seal, and that's a very easy touchdown. Guys, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm pretty excited by this review. I said it at the start, I'll say it again. This isn't Gronk and Hernandez. This isn't the best tight end room of all time. But it is a huge upgrade for what the Jets have. I don't expect them to take a Trey McBride in the second round now, because I think they feel like they've got two guys who can be here for 2 or 3 years and be the foundation of a much improved room. Great blockers, very good in the running game, and can both do plenty after the catch. Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah are the future of the Jets tight end position.